Well, hello everyone, and here we go. Thank you for attending this webinar on how to scrub EOBs and appeal denials. There's no audio taping or videotaping allowed, and any unauthorized reproduction, dispensing, or copying of this target coding webinar is illegal. And the information here is for educational purposes. It's not intended to substitute any clinical decisions that you make. We're not a law firm. We don't give out legal advice. I've made every attempt to make certain the information in this presentation is 100% accurate. A little bit about myself for those of you that do not know who I am. My name is Dr. Marty Kotler. I'm the president of Target Coding. I'm also a chiropractor. I practiced for many, many years, about 16 years. And I am a certified professional compliance officer. About 12 years ago, after being in practice for many years, I decided to do consulting on a part-time basis, showing doctors how to bill and code properly. So I decided I'd go, let me go get my certifications in billing and coding. And then I went and got my certification in compliance. So that's what those initials are, those letters are after my name. And, I've written many books and training manuals on billing and coding and documentation. And I take a little bit of a unique approach, little unconventional approach, because most chiropractors are not certified coders. Most certified coders are not chiropractors. So you'll see in this presentation or in other presentations how I can dig into diagnosis codes and use my clinical background to display to my clients what are the best diagnosis codes based on the examination that was done. That's what we do here. We just want to make sure you're not leaving any money on the table. You're maximizing reimbursement. I write articles to many of the major chiropractic publications. I also do seminars for physical therapists and acupuncturists and massage therapists. I'm a speaker at many of the large state association conventions nationwide. So that's a little bit about myself. So now let's get into the most common denials, how to scrub your EOBs, how to fight back and challenge insurance companies that are hassling you. So let's start off with the first denial that you may get. The services rendered were not medically necessary. See that term, not medically necessary, it's a very generic term. It doesn't tell me specifically why. So if you submit a claim to an insurance company and they ask you for your notes, or sometimes you don't even submit your notes, you just submit a claim, and they say services were not medically necessary, you deserve an answer as to specifically why the service is not medically necessary. A health plan is not allowed to just say, oh, not medically necessary, and deny your claims. They have to give you a specific reason why. So is it because you didn't write down the amount of time you spent on a time-based code? Is it because you didn't sign your notes? Is it because you're not showing significant improvement in the patient's care? There should be a specific reason. So if you're getting denied, and let me back up a little bit. Ideally, you see a patient. If you're dealing with insurance, you submit a claim, and the claim comes back paid and processed properly. Right? That's the ideal situation. And if it was, simple like that, it would be great, right? But there are times where you submit a claim and it doesn't get processed properly, or there's this holdup, and oftentimes it's the insurance company saying the services were not medically necessary. So there's a lot of different reasons why. Like, I don't get how some health plans will say, well, you didn't sign your notes, therefore the services are not medically necessary. I don't get that connection. I could prove to you that I signed the notes. I'll sign a signature attestation if I have to, so I don't get that connection with certain things. But you are entitled, you must get a specific reason. If you don't, then you might just say to the patient, well, I'll just charge the patient. That's okay. Out of network, in network, you couldn't do that. So now let me tell you the most common reason why a health plan will say the services were not medically necessary is because they consider it to be maintenance or wellness care. So what is that? What's medical necessity? What's maintenance care? What's wellness care? So I want to go over the definition of these two items. So let's talk about that a little bit. You could have, right, a patient can call their health plan and say, hi, my name is Mr. Jones. I would like to find out, does my health plan cover chiropractic? And this is what the patient is going to hear 99% of the time, yes, you're covered for chiropractic. And they might say, well, you're covered for 20 visits as long as they're medically necessary. Now, because of the Affordable Health Care Act, Obamacare, whether you like it or not, chiropractic got included in just about every health plan nationwide. So it's very rare nowadays that a patient comes in with insurance and there's no chiropractic coverage. There are a few, like you might be out of network with an HMO, and that plan might say, yes, we cover chiropractic, but this doctor's out of network. That's possible, but just about every patient, I would say 95% of the patients that walk into your office will have some sort of a coverage for chiropractic. So if they call the plan and go, hi, does my insurance cover chiropractic? They can hear yes, as long as it's medically necessary. So in my opinion, medically necessary equals insurance payable. Chiropractic wellness maintenance care is not insurance payable. Medicare says active treatment is medically necessary. So what's medical necessity? A quick insight into it means the patient has pain, restricted motion, they have decreased ability to do their normal activities of daily living. That's insurance payable. When the patient gets to the point where they have very little pain, their range of motion is pretty good, they could do most of the activities of daily living that they want to, that's not insurance payable. So not medically necessary means not insurance payable. What about performance enhancing care? You ever treat a patient for that? Now, I play golf a couple of times a year. I'm not a big golfer, but I attracted a lot of golfers into my practice. And I remember this one patient, Henry, he would come in, I would adjust him, and he would say, Dr. Kotler, after you work on me, I could hit the ball further. So he's telling his friends. Now his friends start coming in saying, hey, Dr. Kotler, can you help me hit the ball further? And I would say, of course I could help you hit the ball further, but Aetna doesn't pay to hit the ball further, so, and the patients would pay cash. That's not medically necessary. If a patient says, I run fast, I want you to help me run faster, that's typically not something that's payable by insurance. So what is medical necessity? Again, well, it depends who you ask. Ask Aetna, they'll give you their reasons. You could ask Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois. They have specific information on chiropractic care and what's considered medically necessary. And maintenance care, what is that? Again, it depends who you ask. So let's ask Medicare. According to Medicare, it's not covered. It includes services that seek to prevent disease, promote health, prolong and enhance the quality of life, maintain or prevent deterioration of a chronic condition. That sounds like a good thing, but Medicare does not cover that. And by the way, do not use S8990 to bill Medicare for wellness maintenance care. It doesn't work. It'll come back, patient may not be billed. So I don't recommend you even try that. So here's a little breakdown. You could look at every single man, woman, and child that walks into your office and place them into one of these two categories. Category 1, active care, which means the insurance will pay, right? I mentioned to you what's medically necessary, what's active care, pain, discomfort, restricted motion, decreased ADL, so insurance pays for that. Or if the patient doesn't have insurance, they pay cash. Or if you're out of network, they pay cash, so active care. And then maintenance wellness care. That's simple. Cash. Cash. Insurance doesn't pay for maintenance wellness. But don't get caught in the middle. That's the biggest problem I see from hundreds of doctors across the country. They're in the middle. What does that mean? Patients are popping in, hey doc, yeah, my neck hurts, adjustment. 2, 3, 4 weeks later, patient pops in again. Hey doc, yeah, you know what? It's time, my neck's hurting again. All right, let me adjust you, you're billing insurance. A couple of weeks later, hey doc, you know what? Yeah, I could tell something ain't right. And you're doing that every 3 weeks, 4 weeks, patients are just popping in. You are in the middle. And that's where if your notes get requested, it could look like maintenance and then you'll have to give the money back. Don't get caught in the middle. Make it very simple, black and white. It'll protect your practice. Again, what is medical necessity? Here's Here's Medicare's definition of medical necessity. It's a treatment, service, disease. It's consistent with the symptoms, appropriate under the standards of care, not solely for the convenience of the patient or the doctor. It's the most appropriate service, which can be safely provided in the most economical manner. Blue Cross Blue Shield says, yeah, Blue Cross Blue Shield says chiropractic is covered with the expectation of restoring the patient's level of function. It must be in accordance with a written treatment plan. So if you submit claims and it comes back, we want to see the notes, and then you send them the notes, and the insurance company says, sorry, not medically necessary, they could start sending you these crazy letters saying, we don't feel your notes are appropriate, and we don't feel your notes and your documentation is medically necessary. And this particular plan gives the specific reasons. Your E&M codes were unbundled. Your diathermy application were not supported. Your manual therapy codes did not document the start and stop time. So there's all these different reasons. Let's go to the second one. Benefits are denied because the patient has reached maximum medical improvement. Really? Is that true? When you submit information to a health plan and it comes back, we ain't paying you, you should ask yourself, is this correct or not? Sometimes it's correct. I've had doctors say, Marty, can you, check my notes? The insurance company says they're not good. And I look at them and, you know what? They're not good. I don't really have any ammunition, which is rare. 99% of the time, I could assist a doctor to fight back a little bit. But sometimes it's, they ain't nothing there, Or you could look at this and go, wait a second. I don't agree. This patient has not reached maximum improvement. So you need to, have some good fight back letters. I'm going to show you an example of one in a minute. Now, understand there's a difference between a treatment plan and a treatment summary. So if you're getting hassled by an insurance company and they ask you for your notes and you send them your notes and your notes are not that great, I would recommend you put together a treatment summary. That's not a treatment plan. A treatment summary is saying, I treated this patient. This is the overall outcome of the care. Treatment summary is at the end of care, or even months later. Treatment plan is in the beginning of care. So sometimes you want to put together a treatment summary because an insurance company is asking for your notes, and your notes might not look that great. So even if the notes are from 2-3 years ago, the treatment summary would be dated today, and you put together a little story explaining what's going on with the patient. It's a tremendous help. But if you get denied because they say the patient has reached maximum medical improvement, here's a sample. This is a sample appeal letter when the carrier denies payment due to medical necessity. So everyone listening to this presentation, you can have these letters. I'm going to be showing you a few fight back letters and letters of medical necessity and some forms. If any of you want these, just send an email to amy@targetcoding.com, amy@targetcoding.com. So this goes ahead and explains, I'm writing this letter in a letter of appeal in response to your explanation of benefits because you said the care is not medically necessary due to, okay, what? Not enough improvement, functional limitations have been met, procedures have been proven to not be effective, goals have not been established, the time component, there's a lot of reasons why, right? So here's how you fight back. Oh, really? You think the patient has reached maximum medical improvement? Hold on. Here's the before and after. Look, before treatment, look what I have. Range of motion, ADLs, pain scales. 6 weeks later, look. It's like, you ever see commercials for Jenny Craig or Weight Watchers? They show you the before and after. That's what I'm showing you here. That's what I'm showing the insurance company. Next, the service is denied because it was incidental to the major service rendered. Really? That's what you should be asking yourself when you get these denials. Really? It was incidental? So one of the most common ones is a chiropractic re-exam, and a manipulation or adjustment on the same visit. Very common denial, where the health plan will go, oh, we're not going to pay for the re-exam and the adjustment on the same day because the re-exam is part of the chiropractic adjustment. Really? No, it's not. According to the American Medical Association, it's not. So here's one of those things where I mentioned this earlier. You see a patient, if you're billing insurance, you bill insurance, you get paid, all is good. Well, sometimes you bill insurance and all is not good. They say, well, no, the re-exam was part of the adjustment. So what are you going to do? If you're out of network, you just pass it on to the patient, but you don't want to even do that, right? Even those of you out of network, you don't want to keep pounding the patient to pay because they're not going to come back, right? I mean, that's a natural response. If you're in network, what do? You fight back. Here, look at this letter. This is an appeal letter when the carrier denies the re-exam on the same day as the manipulation, and you're just explaining. This letter is in response to your E&M for the denial of the E&M procedure. We appreciate the time you took to analyze our claim. However, we disagree with your decision. According to the AMA, chiropractic manipulation, it states additional E&M services may be reported using modifier 25 if the patient requires a significant, separately identifiable service. On October 15th, the patient came in with a new problem. Take a look at my notes and you'll see this was a new problem. So a new problem, an exacerbation of an old problem, the patient stays the same for too long a period of time. Those are all reasons to do another E&M service. Number 4, payment will be considered upon review of the chart notes. Okay, have you been placed in a prepayment audit? Prepayment audits are on the rise. I have never seen more doctors in prepayment audits nowadays than ever before. I don't know what's going on, but it's happening a lot. So what do you need to do? A prepayment audit. Those of you that do not get my email newsletter, about 2 months ago, I put together a really nice e-newsletter, and I went through prepayment audits in detail, what to do, what not to do, what action steps to take. So if you want to get that newsletter, we could get it to you. Just email amy@targetcoding.com. But this is a doctor that was placed in a prepayment audit, and it gives the specific reasons why. So this is a Blue Cross Blue Shield, Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield. This is another Blue Cross Blue Shield plan from California. They placed this doctor in a prepayment audit. It says, as a result of our investigation, we will be placing you on a prepayment audit for CPT code 97110. Under the prepayment review program, we will review all claims with the code at the issue prior to processing the claim. So it just slows everything down. And we have a game plan. So those of you that are in a prepayment audit, be careful because some doctors, if they've never dealt with a prepayment audit, if they haven't been advised on how to handle it, it could cause so many problems. For example, dealing with a doctor from Maryland right now who was placed in a prepayment audit. So he put together about 100 claims. And he's like, all right, I'm going to send them in now and hopefully I'll get paid. Well, he left out a couple of important things on all 100 claims. So they said denied, and there's no appeal process for these. So he loses out on 100 claims. There's a game plan. For example, just send in 10. See how they process them. If they get paid, then you have proof they were good. If they don't get paid, well, you only have to deal with 10 problems, not 100. So contact us if you need help with prepayment audits. Next, the service is denied because it is included in the contractual obligation and the patient may not be billed. Okay, if you're in network, I guess that makes sense. If you're out of network, that doesn't make sense. And health plans, they try to steer patients to go to participating or in-network providers, and they give them these little charts. Look, provider, in-network charges $150, out-of-network charges $150. What does the patient have to pay to an in-network provider? Only $20. If you go to a non-par provider, you'll have to pay $114. See how they steer patients to go to in-network providers? So in-network and out-of-network, make sure you know there's pros and cons to being in, pros and cons to being out. We've assisted doctors with getting them in plans. We've assisted doctors with getting doctors to drop out of plans. We're not telling you to drop out. We're not telling you to join. This is a business decision that you need to make, but we can give you the pros and cons of each. Next, benefits are denied because the diagnosis is inconsistent with the procedure. Oh, this is about pairing your codes. You ever go to a wine and food festival? I love going to them because you have experts, that have been doing this for like 30 years, and they know every little thing about the wine and how to pair it with the food. I love listening to that. Now, I've become a master of pairing procedure codes to diagnosis codes. So you should do that. It'll prevent denials. So if you're going to diagnose a patient with radiculopathy or disc degeneration, mechanical traction pairs beautifully with that. You've got a patient with the shoulder stiffness, therapeutic exercises pairs beautifully with that. You got a patient with myofascial pain syndrome. By the way, that diagnosis code, M79.1, won't work. So we need to fix that. I'm going to fix it right now. There are additional codes that got put into that. So myofascial pain pairs beautifully with manual therapy. Next, benefits are denied because the diagnosis is not substantiated in the records. What does that mean? Let's say you diagnose a patient with sacroiliac sprain or sacroiliac joint subluxation, and now you're questioned by a state board, or maybe you're dealing with a managed care plan and you're dealing with a case manager, and they go, "Hey, Dr. Kotler, you diagnosed the patient with a sacroiliac sprain. How did you come up with that?" Hopefully you'll have a good answer and say something like this: "Well, the patient had pain in the SI joint, and I did Yeomans and Ganslins right there. Those are the two gold standard tests for any type of SI joint discomfort or problem. I palpated the SI joint, and there was hypermobility or hypomobility or pelvic tilt." Okay, doctor, you diagnosed the patient with cervical radiculopathy. How did you come up with that? Hopefully you'll say, "Well, the patient had pain in the neck radiating into the arm. I did Jackson compression, foraminal, maybe shoulder distraction or shoulder depression. I checked reflexes. There was some myotomal weakness. There was limited motion in the neck." Beautiful. That makes sense. You want to have good answers. This is a page out of a book. I'll talk to you about it later. This is an excellent book that provides you with 25 of the most common diagnosis. That's just one part of the book. It provides you with some of the most common diagnosis codes in chiropractic, and it gives you the ortho, neuro, chiro, subjective tests that should be in your notes to help support it. Number 8, procedure is being denied because it is not typically performed on the same date of service as the other billed procedure. Then again, you should be asking yourself this one one word. Really? Is that true? Maybe, maybe not. CCI edits are a problem for certain codes. CCI edits say manual therapy, massage, and NMR has to be performed in a separate anatomic site than the adjustment. So if you do that, you're going to use the 5-9 modifier. Number 9, missing or invalid modifier. So 25 goes on E&M codes, 59, just mentioned that. AT is a Medicare modifier for active treatment. GA means you have a signed ABN form on file. That's all it means. GY means the services are statutorily excluded. GP means services rendered by a licensed physical therapist. So the 5-9 modifier, that's the big one. Many years ago, an OIG report found that it's being billed incorrectly nearly 40% of the time, resulting in millions of dollars of overpayments. So it's a frequent audit trigger. It's one of those rare modifiers that bypass the CCI edit. So be careful with that. Make sure you're using it. If you're using the 5-9 modifier, just make sure you're using it properly, and then you should be fine. Now, some health plans want you to use XS instead of 59. Before you do that, check with them. Don't just start using it, because it can cause problems. And then the GP modifier is an issue with some Medicare plans. You should be using it if you're having problems getting it to the secondary. Next, number 10, the charges were applied to the deductible, and therefore payment cannot be made. Yeah, I mean, we get calls here at Target Coding at the help desk all the time. Dr. Kotler, we've been following your recommendations, and we submitted the bill, and it didn't get paid. Why? I don't know. Wait a second. How could we help you? If you don't know why, then I can't help you. Find out why. Okay, I'll send you the EOB. So the doctor or staff member sends us the EOB. Yeah, it got denied because it went towards the deductible. I mean, that's a possible response. So you are required. There's no way around this. You are required to collect the full deductible, full coinsurance, full copays. Waiving them could be considered an inducement. It could be considered a violation of the anti-kickback statute. You don't want to be involved with that. This doctor got a letter. It says, Doctor, we received a complaint alleging that you knowingly process Medicare claims as if the patient is paying their copayments, but they're not. Here's another insurance. This is Cigna. Cigna sent this doctor. Doctor, we periodically review records. Please submit the following information. Copies of the patient billing and collection letters, documents that show when bills were sent to the patient, and how much money has been paid by the patients, if any. If you're not collecting copays and deductibles, a letter like this will scare the poop out of you. Here's another one from Aetna. It says, after contacting some of your patients, doctor, it has come to our attention that you routinely waive copays, coinsurance. You know, these are not fun. Here's another one. Doctor, submit the following information. Proof of copayments, deductibles, coinsurance. This is also on the increase. Next, the charges were denied because they were previously considered. Yeah, this just happened. Here at the help desk, doctor contact us. Dr. Kotler, I got a $5,000 bill I sent into an insurance company and they ain't paying. Why? I don't know. But they're not paying. What's going on? Can you help? Yeah, sure, I could help. Do a little research, find out. It was submitted twice. The doctor saw the second round of claims which showed denials. Track down the staff person. Maria is the staff person. Maria, did you submit the claims twice? Oh, yeah, I forgot to tell the doctor. That was an accident. I submitted the claims twice by accident. So here you go. The doctor is furious, fuming that he thinks that his $5,000 bill got denied. He was already paid. So this is about staff training. Make sure your staff is trained properly. Number 12, payment for services were included in the procedure. Oh, okay. Can you charge the patient? Make sure you use good forms. Here, this is an excellent form. It tells patients, your insurance covers chiropractic. However, your insurance does not cover the following things: maintenance, massage, braces, laser, vitamins. They sign it, and you're covered. Excellent form. Just don't use it for Medicare. This is only for regular insurance. Missing qualifiers. Yeah, box 14. That could be an issue for some of you. It's either the date of the initial visit, or if it's a work comp, personal injury, it's the date of the accident, and use qualifier 431. Next, incorrect diagnosis codes. Here's the update I was mentioning earlier. Don't use M79.1. Here's the update. A lot of doctors are not aware of this. They're billing M79.1. It got updated to include a fifth digit. You always have to code to the highest degree of specificity. So M7910, try not to use it. That's an unspecified code. M7911, that's used for myalgia of the muscles of chewing or mastication. 12 for the head and neck muscles. 18 for everything else. Ready for a little pop quiz? What's the difference between myalgia, myositis, and myofasciitis? Myalgia refers to muscle pain. Myositis refers to muscle inflammation. Myofasciitis is an inflammation of the muscles and the fascia, the connective tissue. Myofascial pain is characterized by tender points or trigger points in various muscles. It's often described as myofasciitis when irritated and inflamed. See, that's what, when I mentioned earlier, I'm a little unique because most chiropractors are not certified coders. Most certified coders are not chiropractors. Here's a specific example of how we teach our members to get in there and think clinically, but then after you're finished thinking clinically, take off that hat and put on that business hat, and you get paid for everything you do. Why should you get paid for everything you do? Doctors, staff members, a lot of you are listening to this. I have a simple question. Why should you get paid for what you do? It's a simple answer. You deserve to get paid for everything you do, right? I hope you're saying yes. Number 15, incorrect NPI. Yeah, here's another thing. We come across this all the time, especially, with our new doctors that we help and new insurance billers. We show them how to fill out a 1500 form. There's 33 boxes on a 1500 form. We go through that with many of our doctors and new staff members in billing, CAs. We go through all 33 boxes and we go, okay, send it in, and then it comes back denied. And your first reaction is, what did Dr. Kotler teach us? He's teaching us the wrong stuff. No. The claim got denied because the doctor's NPI number was wrong. The doctor or the staff person put the group NPI number where the individual NPI number should have gone. There's a lot of different things that should say 1500 form, just fixing that. There's a lot of things on the 1500 form that need to line up, like 24J. Whoever's touching the patient, that's whose NPI number should be in 24J. The owner of the practice could be in 31. That's the bottom left corner. So little things, like with Medicare, years ago the patient's Medicare number would end with a letter, an A, a B, or sometimes a D. If you left that one letter off, the whole claim would get denied. One little dot. Natasha, who's the executive director of Target Coding, she helps doctors with credentialing and revalidating. She's gone into doctors, doctors will call us at the help desk saying, I haven't been paid by a health plan, or I haven't been paid by Medicare in 9 months. She'll go into the PICOS website, the CAQH, and there was one little thing, like the doctor's name was put in incorrectly, or the address didn't match the billing address, some one little digit off, and everything can get thrown off. So just a few closing comments before we get to Q&A. Check with all the carriers you bill to make sure the information is compliant. Attend seminars, attend webinars, join your national and state professional associations. Here's my contact information. You want to email me directly, Dr. Kotler at targetcoding.com. There's our website, targetcoding.com. Telephone number, 1-800-270-7044. You want to fax us stuff with patient information on it? Fax it to our HIPAA secure fax number. You want to email us stuff with patient information on it? You don't have to black out or white out names. Email it to our HIPAA secure portal. So our HIPAA secure fax number is 844-831-2347. We're on all social media platforms. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter. We're always giving little pearls of information. Sign up for our e-newsletter. Like us on Facebook. Check out our YouTube channel. Going to get to questions and answers in a minute. So besides these webinars, Target Coding sells products. We have tons of videos and training manuals and forms. A lot of the forms that I showed you, we have in a forms packet. We offer on-site trainings and one-on-one consulting. We provide compliance plans as it relates to HIPAA and Medicare. We have membership programs. Tons of seminars coming up. Most of them are CE approved. Hey, we have a seminar coming up on a cruise. For the last 12 years, I've been doing land-based seminars. We have a seminar on water coming up. 8 CEUs have been approved in over 30 states. Get out of the cold. Come on this cruise with us. We have a few nice cabins left. Oh, yeah, the forms. We have a forms packet. The sample forms that I showed you in this presentation come from this forms packet. And you get 75 forms. It's a nice package of forms, letters, templates, logs. And we break them down into new patient forms, admin forms, exams and treatment plan forms, a whole bunch of sample soap notes, fight back letters, letters of medical necessity, appeal letters. We also threw in some PT forms and some acupuncture forms, a whole bunch of Medicare forms showing you exactly what to do when it comes to Medicare. The documentation, right, is the key. We have a sample template for the first visit and for routine visits in the package. ABN forms and a whole bunch of HIPAA forms. The book, remember I showed you that book on how to pair your codes and, you know, those diagnosis codes to show you the ortho, neuro, chiro tests. This is the book. It's called The Book on the Best Codes to Improve Reimbursement. Has a whole bunch of FAQs. It shows you how to pair your codes. Oh, it also gives you the codes that pay for the most visits. They're called long-term treatment diagnosis codes. Comes with little cheat sheets. Oh, we also offer something called the Smart Choice program. This takes about 3 weeks. We do a complete overhaul. We look at all your claims, codes, fees. We just want to see if you're doing things right. Are you smart? We call it our Smart Choice program. We want to know if you're smart. This is a test of your ability to see how smart you are when it comes to your running your business. Do you know how to prevent audits? Do you know how to strategically bill Blue Cross Blue Shield, Aetna, Cigna? We go through every health plan with you. How to collect cash. Make sure you're not underbilling. Make sure your staff is trained to maximize revenue. When not to use certain modifiers. Let us know if you want to do this one. We also have Medicare compliance plans. If you see Medicare patients, it's a good idea to get proactive. Medicare says get proactive. If Medicare says something, you should do it. Get a simple Medicare billing and coding compliance manual. It'll help you SWAN. That's one of our favorite acronyms here at Target Coding, SWAN, which means sleep well at night. We go over the $15 rule, right? Medicare, there's the $15 rule. Do you know about that? Do you know about the opt-out rules? You know, that's all in your plan. Do you adjust full spine, but you only bill 98940? That should all be in your internal billing and coding policy manual for your staff and for your patients, just in case they come snooping around. HIPAA compliance is mandatory. Mandatory. Every single one of you listening to this program, you must install a HIPAA program. Now, some of you say, Dr. Kotler, I am a single practitioner. I don't even, like, we have one doctor, single practitioner, no staff, no computer. Talk about simple, right? No staff, no computer. You still have to do certain simple things. We could probably talk to a doctor like that for about an hour and get this doctor to do take simple measures to, they're called safeguards. It's simple. Might be able to, take care of that doctor in an hour. And then we have other clients. We have some clients making, $100,000 a year. Our largest client makes $25 million a year. So that office has over 100 employees. That HIPAA compliance program is a little different than the doctor who has no computer. So we have a very nice, comprehensive HIPAA compliance program. Now, those of you that don't, you might say, well, we don't even see Medicare patients. You should still have a simple billing and coding compliance manual. Like I have one doctor that we're working with. He said, I don't see Medicare patients. Okay, so what do you see a lot of? He collected over $750,000. $750,000 last year from Cigna. So what we're doing with him is we're putting together a billing and coding compliance manual with policies and procedures specifically for his Cigna patients, just in case Cigna comes knocking on the door, he's got everything all laid out perfectly. We also have memberships. Oh, billing and coding for acupuncture. We have a whole bunch of acupuncture doctors that we work with now. It's really nice. One doctor is being asked back for $600,000. That's what started it for me. An acupuncturist contacted me. He said, Dr. Kotler, Cigna wants $600,000 back. Can you help? Oh boy. I put together an acupuncture billing and coding policy manual for him with action steps and chart audit tools. He started doing it. He showed it to his attorney. The attorney said, wow, this is fantastic. They showed it to Cigna. Cigna cut the penalty in half. I saved the guy $300,000 with a simple billing and coding policy manual for acupuncture. That was one of my best success stories there. And we have a whole bunch of products. So again, I want to thank everybody for attending. Here's our contact information. Let's go now, questions and answers. Yeah, so let's go to questions and answers now. Again, hopefully you all learned a lot and you enjoyed this webinar.